Okay. The first problem, problem number one, is going to be a net to seller problem. The net to seller problem is going to be based on the concept of the net you have after, the net the seller has after paying you the commission, the relationship between the net the seller has in their pocket after paying you the commission, divided by the inverse of the commission. Now, I know that sounds strange, but that's the whole trick to the problem. I know, Dennis, this is the one that you kept confusing in your mind. It's now time to make sure you just do it. This is very similar to what they look like on test purposes. So in this case, Ronnie wishes to net $18,000 in cash. In other words, she wants to put $18,000 in her pocket from the sale of her house. But first she has to pay off her loan of, what's that, $117,325? Am I reading that correctly?
Yes.
117. Please check my numbers and make sure I'm not confusing that. Okay. So she has to pay off her loan if she wants to make $18,000. I've done a little bit of math in my head, and I determined that she also needs $2,645 to pay her closing costs on this particular transaction. Now, we'll get to another question a little bit later about what some of the seller closing costs would be, but for this question, we just gave it to you. I'm the agent. I would like to walk away with 6% commission. So remember what the key to this whole problem is right here. If you're using the T-bar, make sure at the top, net after commission divided by what? The inverse of the commission. In other words, 100% minus the 6% I want to put in my pocket. Somebody add those numbers up for me right there. It looks like 135. How much is that?
137,970.
137,970. Does everybody agree with that number? Okay. And then divided by 94%. Somebody give me that number as well, please.
146,776.
146,776?
Yep.
776. Okay. Does that sound right? Did everybody get that number?
Yes.
Okay. Now let me remind you what you just found. What this number means, 146,776, that is what you need to sell the house for so that the seller can get their net of 137,970, which will allow them to pay off their loan, their closing costs, and put $18,000 in the pocket and pay me my 6% commission. That is the net to seller question. Okay, Marlon, you can go ahead and cut that off, and then we can discuss